Hi everybody, and thanks for tuning in. This is a bit different. It's my first fly tying video. New experience for me, and I think it's going to be an experience for you too, as when I tie these patterns, half the materials I haven't got a clue what it is, so it'll be a bit of a guessing game. A lot of materials also, I go to my local fabric shop or sewing shop. I spend a lot of time in there and it saves me a lot of money. So for a lot of these things, they just put aside, they're in the box, and I just go through it and, ooh, that's quite nice, I'll use that. A lot of my mates do a bit of game shooting. They turn up, they tell me what it is, but within no time at all, I put it in a box. I forgot what it is. So I do use a lot of mixed materials when tying the flies. It just makes it, for me, it's more interesting. But I'll only be tying flies that I find successful. Come up with an idea when I'm on the water. I think of something. What I do is I tie the first one, give the boys some of these patterns, and then we'll fish it and fish it. I'll be tweaking it until we get to a point where I think, yeah, that's a good pattern. Once I find that, then I'll put it on here for you to see what I've got. Chances are there's going to be God knows how many patterns out there that already look very much the same or very similar, if not almost identical. Example, many years ago I tied up as a joke Amber's the drummer from the Muppet Show. Big eyes and hair, and so I tied this onto a hook just as a joke, show the boys. It was many months later then, one of the magazines, and it showed a pattern in there. It wasn't exact, it was as close as you would ever get. And I could not believe, mind the funny thing was they tied it for to fish with. Mine was a joke. I could not believe that somebody else had come up with something so out of the box, and there it was. So anything that we're tying, no matter what you tie, I know colleagues of mine have been tying their patterns, calling it a name, and then somebody coming back, oh yeah, but in our day we called it this. And then it's a bit messy. So I'm not going to say what I've got and what I'm tying is unique, probably looks very similar, or it's very much the same as a lot of patterns that are all out there. I have no time to go through them. I don't know who has time to look at every pattern that's out there now. There is so many people doing this, and there's so many different patterns out there. But anyway, let's crack on. What I'm going to tie for you for today is one pattern that I have found so reliable throughout the year, and I can fish it dead slow, like static. I can fish it mid-water. I can retrieve it steady figure of 8, and I can even strip it in really fast near the surface. It doesn't always work, whichever method it is. You've got to switch the method on the day. It's a killer, and it's the little red buzzer. Most of the hooks I'm using at the moment are full in mill. One that's in the vise at the moment is a size 14 Czech Nymph black nickel. I do like them hooks. There's a wide gape on them, they hook well, they're strong enough, and they hold the fish well. The thread, obviously being red, it's the uni thread 136D 6/0W, so whatever that means, I've got no idea. Tie this in. Now what you're going to see is, obviously with myself, I'm never too fussy with the finish or anything as regards the presentation. I'm at the age now where my hands are a bit more clumsy, eyesight isn't as good, but what I do know is that the patterns that I do tie generally do work quite well. I don't think the fish are as fussy as we think. The fishermen are more fussier than the fish. The next part for me is quite important, and it's the wire. Obviously I work with lots of different colours. There are a few wires that I prefer. Now if I use silver and I'm fishing on at Hayes Castle water, which is a lot clearer, there's a bit of sunshine, it stands out like a sore thumb. For me it's too bright. So what I tend to do is tone my patterns down, but if you were in a water that's a bit more coloured, I'd say possibly the brighter colours like your silvers and so on. But for me, I'm toning them down. Now, the colour of wire for me is probably one of the more important things. It's something that really does stand out. For myself here now, I've got like, it's a sort of copper colour of wire. I haven't got a clue as to what size of wire this is. Again, when I'm winding on. The wire helps me get as close as I can to touch turns, because I can't actually see much of what's happening there myself. I got an idea of where I'm at. Again, how far I wind down is all down to yourselves, but I like to leave a bit there for hooking the fish. I don't like to go too far, and I'm never fussed about touch turns on the way back up. As you can see, all I'm going to do is just build that up a little bit at the top half. Again, now with the wires, for me, I don't like leaving too big a gap in the wire when I'm winding it. I have seen a few videos where they're saying to leave a certain amount of gap, or you might put, say, 5 or 6 wraps of wire on. I've tried these sort of different things, and I just don't like the look of them. I feel that the bigger the gap on the wire, the bigger it makes the pattern look. So, and again, there with that wire, just wind it round a few times. It isn't going to add that much more weight to the pattern. Obviously, if I've got something that's going down deeper, sometimes I'll put more weight. Now, the next thing I normally do here is 2 different things I'll use. One, I sometimes use, I got a bit here, is just ordinary household cling film. And all I'm doing with this then is that I just start to, bit this buggered, just stretch it a bit, keep stretching, fold it up as you go, and then obviously you get in a really, I don't know if you can see that there, this isn't a very good example, it's a small piece that I got here, but what you get is that veining starting to appear in the cling film. You can obviously, with the cling film, if you want it more translucent, just leave it, don't fold it over so many times. I've used cling film quite a lot, and I enjoy using it, but for this one, as I say, you can see it there, you can create a lot of different things with the cling film. But I'll use a bit of the other thing I'm using as well, is a bit of the, I think it's called body stretch. Got lots of bits of these all over, different colours. So there's only one purpose for this, and that's obviously to get everything that I'm tying after to sit down in the right direction. So get the body stretch, I'll just wrap that in. Again, I'm not too worried about how I'm tying it in, but I will adjust it as I go. And then just keep pulling it back to see where you want that to be, and that's fine. Obviously the next thing I'm going to use Peacock herl. Now, some of the best patterns I think out there always have Peacock herl. If you were to think of some of the better patterns, and certainly when I go back in time and I look at some of the great salmon and sea trout flies, as well as and even the dowback, it's all mainly Peacock herl. Natural for me always. Pinch the tip off, it's the weakest point, just tie that one in, take that back to where your body stuff is in, and just gently wrap that round. Sorry if my hands are in the way. Okay, so I'll take that up so far. I'm leaving a good couple of mil from the eye, just to allow for the next dressing. Make sure that's in, that looked a bit loose there. Okay, now the next thing I'm using is I think it's right. It's the ostrich, if that's right. Now the fibres on these sometimes are a bit too long for what I'm looking for. You can strip the ends off there if you want. I'm not worried. Just tie that in. And then all I want to do is just give that a wrap or two. Let's see if two. I could always trim them. Get rid of that. Okay, just see if we can get them to sit down a little more. And then just get the body stretch. And the body stretch, as I say, that is just to keep everything pointing in the right direction. There's the one I'm going obviously facing down. Tidy that up. Stretch that back. Couple of turns. Give them a good stretch. Cut that off. Sometimes I end up with little tags to the left there. You can either get rid of it with a whip finish, or I am never too worried about that. Stay in there. Nice tidy size head. And that's almost it. And that is virtually it. It's so simple. As I say, the length of the leg, again, it's down to yourselves. If you think, yeah, I'm gonna do something about that, then you know, you can just give them a bit of a trimming. But that's the red buzzer basically, just a bit of varnish or lacquer on the head that don't touch the bodies. But that is a super pattern. It fishes really well. I get so many fish on this, it's unbelievable. And I fish this with confidence always, and that is the main thing. Whatever you're doing, whatever you tie, don't tie necessarily as I have tied it. If you want, crack on, but it's just examples. If you've got a bit of an idea of your own that can incorporate and you feel might improve that pattern slightly, do that. The idea of this is it's a start point, and I know if you have this on and you're fishing this, you can fish it with confidence. But if you see something and you think, do you know what, I'm going to do this. While we were tying this, I did contemplate, and I've still been looking at, and I probably will try one, because I got a few variations of this. And the next one that I was looking at is thinking, okay, what if I finish it off with a black head on there as opposed to the red? The black head, that could be quite interesting. Could be a bit more bug-like, and you have something so similar, but you've done this or you've done that. For instance, like the black head as opposed to the red head. Have you done that already? Let me know how it fishes. So it'd be great. Anyway, that's enough from me, but I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.